Don't make this mistake. All right, so first, before we start the video, I want to say a huge thank you to AirUps. This was something that they had done. Actually, they gave it to me at Cups, so I'm sorry for taking a little bit to show it to you guys. But this is actually a blow-up, like inflatable seat. This is something that they had created for me. It has my logo on it. It's really, really cool. So if you guys want to get in contact with them to get your own, there's no minimum. You can just get one if you wanted. But if you tell them that you heard about the seats and whatnot, even the bunkers, anything like that, if you tell them that you heard about it on How to Play Paintball, they'll give you a discount. I'm not sure exactly how long they're going to be doing that for, especially with now they are the official US bunker sponsor for the NXL, so they are going to be getting really busy. So who knows, maybe they end up saying like, hey, we can't keep doing these discounts. So I'm not really sure how long that's going to be, but jump on it because this is really cool. It's something that you blow it up real quick. It's something that, you know, there's really no seats in the pits or the pit area, and rather than sitting on your gear bag or anything like that, you could just sit on that. Or if you have a booth or something like that, let's say that you guys are starting up, you know, like a headband company or something like that, and you just wanted to have something with your logo on it so that when you go to local events, it's a really cool thing to have. So, and it rolls up pretty small. It fit into like this little drawstring bag when they gave it to me. So it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. And it's made out of bunker material. So it's pretty much indestructible. I can't remember. I think they said it can hold up to like, I want to say like 300 or 400 pounds. It can hold a lot of weight. All right, so the 2019 season is quickly approaching, which I'm looking forward to because it's great. We're going to be able to, like Aftermath is now pro, so that's really cool to have them coming into the pro division. Like we have our tryouts coming up for the ML Kings. So it's a lot of cool stuff happening. So I'm excited for it. I'm ready to get into the season. But what I wanted to do was help you guys out with some mistakes that I see people do at practice, and I want to help you guys out with that. So I wanted to give you kind of a breakdown of the different days of different goals. That's the main word you want to take away from this, is having goals. Like even when I go out and do drills, you don't want to go out and just like, I'm going to shoot this target and I guess I'll do this. I guess I'll do this. You want to go in and, okay, my snap shooting wasn't the best last weekend. So I want to go in and at least, 60 to 70% of the time I'm hitting the target at this distance. At this distance, it might be a little bit, maybe it's closer. So I want to be hitting it, 80 to 90% of the time. So that way you can have these goals to reach to. Maybe you reach them quicker and you're like, all right, cool. Maybe it was just a weird weekend and my shot was off, or maybe the paint was a little bit funky. But when you go in with goals, it helps you with figuring those things out. With layout practices, so let's say that it is the first day that the layout has been released. The first thing you want to do is, I would recommend printing out copies. Personally, I like to have paper. I don't know what it is. I do stuff on the computer too, but even like in teaching, I like to print out stuff, and then it's just weird. I don't know. So that's something that I personally like to do, is print it out, and then I can start figuring out, where are the bunkers that seem like they're going to be more deadly? What are the sides that seem like it's going to play more? Where do I think I can go off the break? And then from there, you can start getting ideas, and then, hopefully your team has like a group chat on Facebook or texting or whatever, that you can sit there and kind of shoot ideas at each other. Hey, what do you think about this? Oh, I saw that. Okay, so let's try to, figure some things out before practice. So let's say that you already have some ideas. Now it's your first day of practice. Go try everything. Now, the caveat with that is you don't just want to go out and not communicate with your team. You want to go out and say, look, I want to try to make this really far run. So I need you to come out and step over and shoot this. Or maybe it's, hey, I want to try to delay back here. Do you think you can do a further run? So that way it pulls the guns that way. And let's see if this works. And if it doesn't, that's okay. That's something with practice that I think some people get mixed up. So one of my old coaches from the Palm Beach Vipers, Ken, this is something that he had said was, do you want to win at practice or do you want to win at tournaments? And it's more important, obviously, to win at the tournament. Practice, if you lose every single point, that's okay, because as long as you're learning and figuring out exactly where are the weak points, what is it that I need to work on, where are those little things that we need to adjust, That's what practice is for. There's a lot of guys that go out and they get shot and then they wipe, and it's like, dude, it's practice. Like, why would you do that? You're hurting yourself and you're hurting your team, because maybe the coach didn't see you do that, or maybe, the other players didn't know that happened. But what if that spot is important for you to live at and you need to figure it out? Well, you just wiped. Now you don't know what happened. Like, how do you fix that? When you do stuff like that, it's not hurting just you, it's hurting your team as well, because now you guys can't come together to figure out where are those holes that we need to plug. So by day 2, and I'm going to go over 4 days. So we have, like Saturday, Sunday for the 2 weekends before the event. I understand that not everyone can do that. It's tough to do. So what I would say is you can split up days 1 and 2, put them together, and just split up your day. The beginning of the day, do day 1, and then the end of the day, do day 2, if that makes sense. So you're splitting up 1 day of practice. You have to kind of smash 2 days worth into 1 day, which can be tough. But I understand that it's tough to get out there and practice all the time. So with day 2, this is when you want to start figuring out what are the plays that we can do. So at the end of day 1, or maybe in the middle of day 1, if you have to kind of cram it, you want to sit down and talk with your team. What are some plays that we can do? You want to have, 3 or 4 just solid plays that you can go back to, and at the tournament you can kind of mix up. And then from there you can adjust. Okay, instead of me running out and going to the snake off the break, I want to stop at the insert into the snake. Or maybe I want to make it look like I'm running to the snake, but I'm gonna stop early. Those are the little tweaks that you can do, but you want to have like 3 or 4 solid plays that you can fall back on. With those plays, you want to see, again, you're still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So you want to kind of solidify those 3 or 4, so that way the next practice you can start to cement those in. So now we're getting into day 3, or this would be for you guys that have to kind of smash 2 days worth of practice into 1 day, which again, I'm not coming down on you guys for that. I understand it's tough. Like, paintball is expensive, so it's not always the easiest thing. With day 3, what I would say is start to look at what are some situationals. Let's try to have a really aggressive play. Let's try to win in 30 seconds to a minute, or a minute and a half. This way you have those kinds of plays that you can fall back on. Maybe you guys get a penalty. Sometimes reffing is bad. It's not even your fault. Or maybe it was your fault, but maybe you get a penalty and now you're down and you need to come back to tie it, or you're tied and you need to win that game. It's one of those that you have to win to move on. Or you're just down points and you need to start having some really aggressive plays to come back a couple points. In those situations, you want to have 1 or 2 plays that you can go to that that are going to work. So you want to figure out, okay, what are the bunkers that we can get to? Let's figure this out. And that's when you want to talk with your team. Now, the guys that are watching on the sideline, maybe if you have 2 lines, or if you do have a coach, that coach or those extra players can kind of watch, and like Danson is the other Dorito player with ML Kings, and him and I would talk, and hey dude, why did you do that? Oh, how did you get there? Oh, okay, I just wanted to say, hey, I was getting heat this way, but if you back up, you can shoot this. So those are the things that you want to be doing as a team. Even though Danson and I are fighting against each other, because both of us want to play, but we also both want the team to win. So that's something that you want to have, that kind of camaraderie. But that's a whole other video. But yeah, so going into that day 3, you want to figure out an aggressive play, and then what's a play that, look, we just need to hold it. So you kind of want to have an idea of, we need to hold for 2 to 3 minutes. So you're going to take out some extra paint. This is going to be something that it will use more paint. Doesn't necessarily have to. It just makes it easier when you can just sit there and roll your gun. But let's say that you're up 1 or 2 points and you need to hold it to win. Where do you go? That's the kind of things that you want to figure out with day 3. And then by day 4, and again, remember, if all you can do is get 1 day, you're smashing day 1 and 2 together, and day 3 and day 4 together. With day 4, like kind of the last practices, you really want to be figuring out, and this kind of goes into day 3 as well, but you want to figure out the personnel that work best together. what are the guys that seem to work best together in these different plays that we figured out that work. You know, we're staying alive, going to this bunker, and, you know, who is it that works best together on this layout? So it changes. Sometimes you're going to have guys that play together all the time, and then for whatever reason, one tournament, that layout just doesn't work for them, and they need to play on different lines, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that they're not good players. That doesn't mean that they can't play together. It's just that for whatever reason, that particular layout is a little bit more difficult to for those personnel to kind of connect. So of course, after you're done with practice, it's time for the tournament. But I would still recommend that before the tournament, you want to make sure that you go walk the field. If you can go and walk it, make sure that everything looks pretty much the same. There might be some shots that are a little bit different. We've had that happen to us, and ultimately, it could be that you set everything up exactly correct, but when you get to the event, things are adjusted just a little bit, and it messes with some plays, and that's not a bad thing. That's just paintball. Like, whatever it is that's at the event, that's the correct layout, even if it's wrong. As weird as that sounds, even if they messed everything up, that is the correct layout. So you want to make sure that you're walking that field, because you can't just walk out and think that your play is going to work. So you want to look at what are the any changes that may have happened to the layout. But also, once you've walked the field, if there aren't any changes, then you kind of know, okay, we don't have to make any adjustments to our plays. But if there are some adjustments, man, I can't lane this guy anymore. There's a bunker in the way, or the gap is smaller, or, you know, whatever. You might need to tweak those, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 plays that you have, kind of your go-to plays, to make sure that they work at the tournaments. I hope that this helps you guys out. I hope that this is something that will help you guys out in the 2019 season and 2020 and so on and so forth if you're watching in the future. The other thing I wanted to say is please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Every week I have a new video. Sometimes I have 2-3 videos a week. Just kind of depends on what I can get to. I also do daily vlogs whenever I'm at tournaments. You can kind of get a behind the scenes of pro paintball. Also, if you are looking to do any clinics, be sure to email me. So howtoplaypaintball05@gmail.com is my email. I'm more than happy to try to set up a clinic. I like teaching. I am a teacher. So I like to be able to do that so we can figure out, you know, logistics and all of those things. Also, you want to make sure that you're subscribed, because we are going to be doing a really amazing giveaway. It's going to be a raffle. It's going to be to benefit a organization that my wife and I help out with. We're not paid by them. It's a nonprofit. But that's all I'm going to say. It is going to be some really good prizes. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed, so that way you know exactly when it is that the raffle is going to start, and we can go ahead and get you entered. So again, guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. It was cool, actually. This weekend I met a subscriber that he said, I was messing with him, but making sure that he was a subscriber, but he had said that he's been subscribed for a couple years now. So Edward, I remembered. So it was really cool meeting him. So please, guys, if you see me anywhere, please say hi. I'd like to be able to meet you guys. And yeah, so I guess good luck in 2019. Go ML Kings. Yes, we are playing pro this season, and there's some really cool stuff going on with the team. So I'm excited for 2019, and I will see you guys out there. But as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.